This is a list of 4 billionaires, 18 multimillionaires, 2 people named in the Epstein flight logs, 3 cops, 1 who's a convicted felon, 2 who were involved in corruption scandals, a boxer whose ear was bitten off by Mike Tyson, and the NFL player who's at the center of RFK's assassination conspiracy theories and has ties to the CIA. You are looking at the 2001 board of directors for the DARE program. On this list is this guy, who after the FBI did an undercover sting, caught him trying to launder money to cover up a cocaine trafficking operation. These are the people who sent thousands of police officers into tens of thousands of elementary schools to teach 10-year-olds to say no to drugs. For years and years, the internet has been baffled by the DARE program, mostly because studies said that DARE students were more likely than non-DARE students to experiment with drugs. How did 34% of the American population go through a program before we figured out if it worked? The story that's told is that DARE had good intentions, that they built a program that they thought would work, and it just didn't. However, there's a lot more to that story.
Now that I think about it was pretty crazy that they were teaching us about drugs and we didn't even know about them yet.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but look what I found earlier on Amazon. These were posted on Amazon on September 9th. That was day before yesterday. How does one publish a book on September 9th for something that happened on September 10th? Then Amazon changed it to this. But wait, if you scroll down, it still says this. Oh, but wait. They're not going to let this stay up. No, if you go search the book now, this is what you find. Something else is happening here. I don't know what it is, but definitely something's happening. What do you think?
It sounds to me. You know what?
What's one conspiracy theory that you believe in?
Birds ain't real. It's the cameras in them birds.
Everybody put their tinfoil hats on. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Y'all don't see a big flock of birds no more. It ain't no. Y'all don't be seeing like 10 birds flying together no more and shit like that. Y'all see 1 or 2 birds.
In them cameras?
I'm telling you.
What do you think they're using those cameras for?
They watching us.
You work a 9-to-5 job?
Yeah.
Nigga,
yeah, I work a 9 to 5.
I'm saying you get your social security number to a company and they got your schedule. So right then and there, they know where you at 8 hours a day. And you gave them that information. They don't need no fucking bird. They already know where you at, nigga. Nigga work a 9 to 5 and he go to the same gym every day. Like, nigga, just check the gym cameras. This nigga in here hooping again.
If you ask ChatGPT what you look like,
yeah,
and give like a description, a short description, it already knows what you look like.
Huh?
Yeah.
So I can go on ChatGPT. Wait, ask it how I look like?
Yeah.
Wait, how?
So my barber was telling me this. He did it.
Yo,
He like, he put a description. He said, describe me, and then like a description.
Yeah.
And then said, okay, make an image of me. Boom. It didn't look exactly like him, but it's very close.
How though?
So check this out. Depending on how you have your phone connected to your apps, yeah, it can connect to your photos or whatever, and that, which is probably how it gets you. You remember that Genie game where it guesses a celebrity?
Oh, yeah.
So slowly we give information to the algorithm, right? And I talked about this before, how TikTok is mad dangerous because we're slowly giving more information.
Yeah.
I liked this TikTok. He's probably Filipino because it's Filipino content.
True.
You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Yeah.
But slowly they're narrowed down on exactly who the you are, how you probably look, your interests.
Do you guys hear about the secretive plane, the Boeing X-37B?
A secretive plane?
Very classified.
Okay.
This plane is nuts. It's this plane that is very small, unmanned, but it goes into outer orbit on the Earth.
Oh my gosh.
It was a NASA thing that they were doing with Boeing, but the project was taken over by the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
And everything got classified since then. Very little known about it. We know what it looks like, and we know that it goes into outer orbit. They released one of the pictures it took. So it's crazy far.
Yeah, it's not like just above the surface.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The conspiracy is this is a terrifying weapon called the rods of God. It's so scary. It's basically a giant metal rod that you would put in space that is solid steel, a foot in diameter, over 20 feet long. They would shoot it from space undetected from all radars, but have the same impact as a small nuclear bomb.
Good.
Just from kinetic energy.
And when was this created?
They're saying it hasn't been created,
Got
but
it.
a speculation is that this thing could potentially be housing these rods of God.
Oof.
How rich and powerful is Lord Evelyn Rothschild? Historically, the Rothschild family wealth was hidden in underground vaults. The Rothschild's secret financial records were never audited and never accounted for. Their family-commissioned biographies give the illusion that their family fortune has dwindled, but researchers estimate their wealth at close to $500 trillion, more than half the wealth of the entire world. Besides their many castles, palace mansions, wineries, racehorses, and exotic resorts, the Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s. Reuters then bought the Associated Press, which selects and delivers the same news stories to the entire world, day after day. They have controlling interest in 3 major television networks and easily avoid media attention since they own it. Until recently, they owned and operated England's Royal Mint and continue to be the gold agent for the Bank of England, which they also direct. They control the LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, where 30 to 42 million ounces of gold worth over $11 billion are traded daily. The Rothschilds earn millions weekly just on transaction fees alone. They also fix the world price of gold on a daily basis and profit from its ups and downs. Over the centuries, the Rothschilds have amassed trillions of dollars worth of gold bullion in their subterranean vaults and have cornered the world's gold supply. They own controlling interest in the world's largest oil company, Royal Dutch Shell. They operate phony charities and offshore banking services where the wealth of the black nobility in the Vatican is hidden in secret accounts at Rothschild Swiss banks, trusts, and holding companies. Although Evelyn Rothschild looks like a harmless gray-haired old man, make no mistake about it, Rothschild and his ancestors have handpicked presidents, crashed stock markets, bankrupted nations, orchestrated wars, and sponsored the mass murder and impoverishment of millions. The wealth hoarded by this one family alone could feed, clothe, and shelter every human being on earth.
Life does not... Oh my God. Oh, life does not...
This is weed right here. Deep. Feel it. This is already the second video that I've seen where they're putting some bullshit on kids' clothes.
We have a problem with anti-Semitism in this country, and the statistics bear that out. And I think now more than ever, we are seeing increased numbers. So what does that mean? What it means, if you can get from, my tone, we're going to be very aggressive. You heard from the FBI, the MPD. We're going to look for these cases. We're going to prosecute these cases to the full force of the law. It's a problem, and we're not going to tolerate it. Anti-Semitism has historically been one of the biggest scabs in the world that keeps getting picked on and picked at. So from my perspective, I will go forward with every case with vengeance.
They never stop to wonder why there's a rise in anti-Semitism, why these people have been picking at this scab, as she's been saying, for years. Like, I wonder why. It must be because these people fucking suck.
Shalom, dear Congressman, politician, CEO. If you saw this in your feed, you're safe. However, if you received this reel from your friend, congratulations, you're being officially blackmailed by the Mossad. I am holding a tape with stuff I imagine you don't want the world to see. But don't worry, my friend, we have a few favors, and I promise not to release. See you in the morning.
Wouldn't it be crazy that while Charlie Kirk was dying yesterday, pretty much the same time the shooting happened, the Senate was voting on releasing the Epstein files, and Republicans actually voted to block it. So yeah, that'd be crazy. You know what else would be crazy?
The DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything except sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files.
That'd be crazy if that was just like 2 days ago. Yeah. Look, man, I was harsh on Charlie because he was very pro-Israel for a while. It seems like he had turned. And, I mean, I don't know. Am I going fucking crazy? Or what? By the way, did you know that a private jet took off like 10 minutes after the shooting, very close by, and then turned off its tracking? That is the code. If you got any pilots or people that can track that shit, get on it. Peace.
You believe that the Jews run the American government.
That's not a secret, Charlie.
Well, no,
My name is Aaron. We're part of the team that writes the rules for Facebook, what Facebook could, should, can do.
So let me get this straight so that we're all on the same page. Minnesota Catholic school shooting, Robert, trans. Nashville shooter, Audrey Hale, trans. Aberdeen shooter, Snokia, trans. Denver school shooter 1, Devin, trans. Denver school shooter 2, Alec McKinney, trans. Georgia shooter, Colt Gray, trans activist. Uvalde shooter, Ramos, potentially trans. Iowa shooter, Dylan Butler, gender fluid. Philly shooter, Kim Brady, trans. Colorado Springs shooter, Anderson Lee, non-binary. The trans cult named Zizian, linked to multiple deaths, and the killing of a Border Patrol officer. It seems to be a pattern that needs to be addressed. Join my Discord to talk about it.
Elon's obviously controlled by them boys. Before X was bought by Elon, people didn't know about everything that's going on, which means
only a matter of time, right?
that they wanted this all to come out. Like, they wanted the world to hate them.
And what if the plan is to create such animosity that they all have to leave their lands and go back to the promised land? I think we're living literally in the era of the Dajjal. God knows best.
The Antichrist.
All glory to God. I think we're in the beginning phases. The minute you see that first stone laid on the Temple Mount, you better retreat to the wilderness. You better leave the major cities. You better have a place to hide. You better chain yourself to a chair, because when this guy is unleashed on the earth, everyone's gonna follow him, bro. Even people that think they're the biggest believers.
June 2019, the UN proposed the Agenda 2030. It was heavily influenced by the World Economic Forum. It was agreed upon by every nation in the world, but a big part of it is surveillance. Red flag, I would say. So under Agenda 2030, many goals like renewable energy, smart cities, and digital ID were implemented. This one freaked me out. The World Economic Forum, they're the biggest advocates for global digital identity infrastructure. So basically everyone will have a biometric ID attached to them now.
Wow.
So wherever you travel in the world, biometrically, you can be identified. This is all in the hopes of making the world a better place. And part of the Agenda 2030 that World Economic Forum were involved in, it's called the Great Reset.
Right, which we've heard of.
So after COVID-19, World Economic Forum launched the Great Reset Initiative, and their catchphrase for this whole Great Reset was, "You will own nothing and be happy."
Yes, this officially is happening.
It's been implemented.
Wow.
And that's why there's all these natural disasters being taken over by the government, like this land. Like in Canada, all these places where there's these wildfires,
Right.
it's like, this isn't a safe place for anyone to live. So now the government owns it, and now you have to move into this city that we're going to make into a smart city.
Carolinas as well.
What's creepy too, though, is they've recently accepted the conversation around cloud seeding. But think about how sketchy it is that it's now illegal to use the technology that, in case of a dramatic wildfire, could put out the fire.
Yeah.
It's like you never know which side you're actually being played on.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why it's nice living up in the mountains and not in some city.
If America spirals into full-scale civil war, there are only 4 choices you'll be confronted with. You really need to pay attention and share this with everyone, because once what's happening right now in places like DC and Chicago spreads nationwide, you'll be forced to make a choice. Let's talk about what they are. Number 1 is hunker down. Barricade your home, fortify your apartment, but if the power grids are hit, if the internet cuts off, if law enforcement disappears, can you survive in place? ICE raids have already triggered chaos. National Guard is on the ground. When supplies vanish and looters come knocking, will you be ready to defend what's yours? Number 2 is bug out. When riots engulf your block and the Guard moves in, staying home might mean dying there. But where will you go? Highways are jammed, gas is limited, and with checkpoints popping up, fleeing might brand you a threat. Can you survive with nothing but what's in your vehicle or in your bug out bag? Number 3 is choose a side and fight. Sometimes you don't get to stay neutral. What if protests turn into insurrection and you're forced to take a side or be labeled the enemy by both sides? Will you fight out in the open or hide in plain sight, resisting in the shadows? No matter what you choose, someone bleeds. Can you live with what you've done or die for what you believe? Number 4 is not much of a choice, but it's getting caught in the crossfire. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. Even if you prep, run, or resist, you can still end up in the middle of it all. Stray bullets, drone strikes, mistaken identity, war doesn't care who you are. Innocents suffer, lives shatter, and the world you knew vanishes overnight. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and be sure you follow for more.
Stop scrolling, because I'm about to show you the scariest video you've seen today. Maybe of all time. These are the things that they can do with AI. This is why we're so cooked, fam. We're already so cooked. Here you go. Have a listen. Enjoy the nightmares.
They did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, like, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation, right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings. So what they did is they had, a camera.
Don't forget about that guy in China who says that Chinese companies are already controlling brain waves through radio signals technology. Have a good night.
Y'all see this? This is crazy if it's true, all right? But we're in the age of Aquarius, so everything's coming to light, all right? And we know a lot of these individuals, these celebrities as well as politicians, are child traffickers and pedophiles. We know that, all right? They don't like when I say that and speak bluntly like that, but it's true, right? But this is insane. Now, some may allege that the actual Hillary Clinton was unalive around 2019 at Gitmo, along with the original Joe Biden before the cloning and all of that nature. You feel me? Some allege that. Okay, I'm not saying it's true, but some allege that a lot of these celebrities as well as politicians have clones, and some allege that even this individual actually somewhere in an underground subterranean base, and they're parading this clone around as if it's him. All right, when a lot of these deletes and a lot of these celebrities are actually relocated and placed underground. Don't believe everything you see.
The more you realize who's in control of this country, you really wonder if any of these conspiracies are even true, because it's like, one, why would they do like skin suits, or why would they go into hiding if they truly run this entire world or country? What's the need to do any of that? Who's going to hold them accountable anyways?
A little bit about the study that just came out of Sweden that is just so alarming.
The news is buzzing out of Lund University, Malmö, Sweden. Marcus Alden is the first author. The first demonstration in a human hepatic or liver cell line that the Pfizer vaccine, in fact, reverse transcribes and installs DNA into the human genome.
Wow. And so in simple terms, what does that mean, Dr. Bartlett?
Thank you for making it simple. So basically, there's an enzyme that can take that messenger RNA vaccine information and put it into the DNA of the person, into their DNA. And we were told that could not happen. So this is in a lab, but it's showing that you remember the vaccine is messenger RNA.
Yeah.
And we were told that that messenger RNA could not go into your DNA, but this is showing that in a lab it can.
And so what happens when it does, Dr. Gold?
Well, can I answer slightly different than your question?
Yeah.
So one of the fun things about the last couple of years being a doctor and lawyer is this is a very interesting opportunity, and I think we're going to be bringing another lawsuit because there's actually federal law that you cannot discriminate against people for genetic discriminations. I forgot the acronym. I think it's GINA, G-I-N-A. GINA, right? So this now opens the door to saying that if you're not allowing somebody in who chose not to get the shot, that you're actually engaging in genetic discrimination. So I think there's this Sweden study, I think, opens the door to a new type of lawsuit.
If you're pregnant and you have this done, can that then affect your baby?
Yes, this is an alarming finding. The CDC says on its website very explicitly, this will not change your DNA. the paper that came out of Sweden. Now, there'll be many more to confirm it, and the steps are to confirm it, to confirm that the entire code is installed, and then to actually confirm that it's expressed, meaning that the spike protein now is continuously expressed from human cells. But because the lipid nanoparticles are taken up everywhere, that means somatic cells in your organs, but also your gametocytes, actually the cells that actually are the sperm and the egg. If they are carrying it, that indeed means that, in fact, it could be passed to the daughter cells.
So that could be open up for birth defects. And
yes. Long story short, they lied. That video didn't need to be that long, just for them to tell you that they've been lying to you guys. They lied about the shot, the vaccine, all about it. It was a lie.
Have you ever heard of the Council of 300? Council of 300 is basically what we would call the Illuminati, and it connects directly to the cult of the Black Cube. So this was originally written by Dr. John Coleman in the book called Conspirators' Hierarchy, The Story of the Committee of 300. He claims that there's a shadow elite ruling the world behind the scenes, but there's multiple names for them. So it's the Council of 300, also the Hidden Hand, or the Olympians.
Interesting.
300 top-tier individuals that would be royalty, banking, dynasties, and corporate heads, including the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Windsors, and high-level Vatican officials. This is why people are like, well, this isn't real because there's no record of it. Of course there's no record of it. The ultimate goal of the Committee of 300 is the creation of the one world government.
Yeah.
One thing this Dr. John Coleman writes about is that the Council of 300, they use this thing called the
Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah, often reinterpreted as the problem reaction solution mechanism. So it's a mechanism used by the elites. So it's a three-step process. 1, problem, a manufactured crisis, terrorist attack, pandemic, economic collapse. 2, reaction, the public's emotional response. So the public's like, you got to do something to save us. And then 3 is solution. So the elite's pre-planned solution that wouldn't have been accepted otherwise. An example, surveillance laws, war, lockdowns.
So at the hunting parties, they would they'd have all these expendable children outside in the woods, and usually they have holding grounds, like a tunnel system or something underground where they hold the kids in cages until the time of the hunt. And the hunt usually happens later, once it's dark outside. And so what they'll do is they kind of they'll kind of make a perimeter, which is pretty large, of these woods, and they'll station the different elite people around the perimeter. And then when they give the go, they release the kids, and the kids are told just to run, to hide. And that's when the elite will go through the woods and start hunting for them. When they catch them, a lot of times they will first sexually abuse them, and then they'll kill them. So not everybody will get killed in that situation. If they don't, then they're used for other hunts. But, there were kids that I saw who, were really good survivors, and they would just continuously have to relive this trauma, So there was kind of so those were the kids on the outside, and then because we were hierarchy kids, we were on the inside. And so on the inside, usually in the house or the lodge, you would have the older men who were too old. Sometimes it did include women, but they were too old to be out in the woods hunting for the kids. So they brought everything indoors for those individuals. And those individuals were not allowed to kill, but they were allowed to capture and rape the hierarchy children. So, once the signal was given that the hunt was on, you were just trying to escape, hide, and not be found. And sometimes they would make it seem, for the kids, like it was a hide and seek game. So unless you got caught, you really didn't know what happened,
This kind of reminds me of the movies The Hunger Game and Maze Runner.
If there is a dome above us, which there appears to be, then that would explain why rainbows are shaped the way they're shaped. That would explain why rockets do this. And not only are rockets always curving, but it looks as though they're hydroplaning. It looks as though they're hitting a body of water and water is splattering out. They're hitting the firmament. It's always been right in front of us. While we're traveling through the solar system in space at 1.3 million miles an hour. And the best part, every night the stars are in the same place. It's like magic. It's like Photoshop. No water's flying off the planet, by the way. The oceans are fine. Even though water always finds its level, the oceans are fine. And we're taught about gravity and we're taught about all these things. So I want to talk a little bit about something that is there in plain view in all theologies and ancient cultures. There's a concept, but it's not taught in school. I wonder why.
I think there's some grand conspiracy, like we're all being puppet mastered by
manipulated.
So is Jews. So they think the Jews are
the Jews. It always gets to the Jews. It'll start somewhere and then goes to the Jews.
I forget who told me this, but it's like one of the symptoms of a collapsing civilization. They start blaming things on Jews.
That's historically accurate. Every civilization that's kicked the Jewish people out suffered and went down. We're good for other people.
There's a weird connection between the CIA and big lottery winners. Watch this.
Did you know that lottery winners have a statistically impossible connection to government agencies?
Right?
When researchers analyzed major jackpot winners over the past 2 decades, they discovered something shocking. Nearly 50% had previous careers in intelligence, defense contracting, or federal agencies.
Isn't that strange?
The odds of this happening randomly? Less than 1 in 847 million. But it gets stranger. These winners often donate massive portions back to government programs within months of winning. Some conspiracy theorists believe state lotteries use quantum computing to manipulate number sequences. They point to excluded combinations that would create too many winners, and jackpots that mysteriously spike during budget crises. The timing seems too perfect. Major jackpots often occur just before states need emergency funding. Internal documents allegedly show research into probability manipulation using quantum algorithms. The same technology that can predict particle behavior could theoretically control random number generation. If true, the lottery isn't gambling at all. It's a sophisticated wealth redistribution system disguised as chance.
1 in a Million, Part 4. While filming for Blade Trinity, Jessica Biel was instructed to shoot an arrow directly at the camera that was more than 60 feet away. It was protected by plexiglass except for a tiny 2x2 inch square in front of the lens, which Biel managed to hit with a direct bullseye, thus destroying the $300,000 camera. An electric company in Arkansas was forced to post this PSA after someone took out a power line with an unbelievable arrow shot. In 1982, the Manuela family lost their beloved pet tortoise Manuela while their house was being renovated. 30 years later, they were cleaning out their attic after their father died and miraculously found Manuela still alive. They think she was able to survive by eating termites in the furniture that their father was hoarding. In 2020, a fisherman off the coast of Maine caught a lobster that was exactly half blue and half brown, split perfectly down the center of its body. Scientists confirmed it was a bilateral gynandromorph, meaning it was literally half male and half female. The odds of finding one in the wild are about 1 in 50 million. A pair of Dutch short track skaters finished a race so closely together that it was impossible to pick a winner. They both finished with a time of 43.128 seconds, so they ended up sharing the gold. Jim Springer and Jim Lewis are identical twins who were separated at birth but ended up living nearly identical lives. Both married a woman named Linda, got divorced, and remarried a woman named Betty. They also both had a dog named Toy, drove a Chevy, and smoked Salem cigarettes. All of this was discovered when they were reunited at the age of 39.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there.
They send people to prison for phony allegations all the time. But now there's an exception. It's like as if Trump were to pardon himself. That's probably what he's doing. He's like, I'm the president. I don't want any of you guys ever mentioning this list again. Matter of fact, make a new list and make sure my name's not on it. And if you try to say it is on it, your name's going on that list.
What's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Why haven't you joined the army to help defend our country?
That question would have sobered me up real quick. This is like one of those they'll never believe you moments.
What do you think we should do with Iran?
Like nuke them.
Respect.
Yeah.
With America's help, though.
Yeah, of course. No, fuck America.
And yet Americans go over there and hump that wall every day. They don't even like you guys. Why do you guys even go? Or should I say us? They don't even like us. I bet you all these Israelis laugh at Americans when they go over there and do whatever they do to that wall. They literally look at them and probably just laugh like clowns.
Image that you put on screen in the beginning of the program, Christ is King. This is the most offensive meme to the Jewish nation, because they consider this above everything else to be the most anti-Semitic thing you can say.
Yeah, and at this rate, pretty soon, us being alive is going to be anti-Semitic. So, you know, they're going to have to fix that as well.
Mr. Patel, are we getting the full story on recent events?
You see my face? Does this look like a face you can't trust? If I had information, you think I wouldn't share it?
Mr. Patel, are you able to blink?
Think if I had eyelids, I wouldn't blink?
And you expect me to trust you when I could see your eyelids?
See in Valhalla, brother.
I still can't believe he actually said, I'll see you in Valhalla. First of all, Charlie Kirk didn't even die in battle. I don't know, dude. You literally can't make any of this shit up, dude. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, let me know by leaving a thumbs up and or subscribing if you guys are new. I would have posted this video a couple days ago right after the recent video, but I had to wait till I get paid because I had to resubscribe to my editing software that I use. So now that that's paid, if you guys do want another video, let's go ahead and get this one up to 125 likes and I'll get you guys again tomorrow. But as always, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.